we began to where the music was coming from, the music kind of stopped, and we first passed a crowd of, some white students and white alumni and white faculty. And as we began to pass them, it was very quiet, different types of food. And then when we crossed over from the, no lie, maybe like 15, 20 feet, is where all the black students were, black alumni, black faculty, and different music. And I remember standing there thinking to myself, wow, I can't believe the environment is still like this, where you saw the separation, you saw the black kids over here, and you saw the white kids on the other side, yet we were all there for the same reason. And so that was much of the experience in undergrad, like everyone kind of just kept together in their own celebration.
So it's almost like you had two separate homecomings happening at the same place. And that's one of the challenges that we see, but homecoming in and of itself, Anika, did you have any like expectations when you came in? Did anything change for you with homecoming, like throughout your experience in undergrad?
Any expectations? I did. I grew up watching Different World, and I think shows like Different World and Cosby Show kind of informed a lot of black students, young people's idea of what college would be like. And so that was my expectation. My expectation was to see what Bria talked about earlier, to see the different organizations come out and step, to see the Kappas, to see the Alpha, to see the Deltas, and the AKAs, and I expected to see a marching band and a black king and queen, and it was nothing like that. And we did have a black queen one year, I think my first year undergrad, but the experience was totally different. I would turn up parties. Wasn't really turn up parties. Like, you either went to the bar or it was real hip in undergrad. So the football players, they had off campus happening, and in the basement, they painted on the wall club jump off.
Okay.
We would go to club jump off, homecoming time, and that's what you got, like real popping.
Yep.
But my expectation was more of Bria's experience, and it was quickly shattered.
Got a little dose of reality there, huh?
Yeah, that's like crazy. Because I'm wondering, so Darion is preparing. He's like, yo, we're getting ready for homecoming. I'm excited. And he goes to, Penn State's predominantly white. But, like, I think his turn up really be real. Like, for their community, for the black community, I think out there, their turn up be real. Like, he gets to see the Kappa steps. He gets to see the Q Dog step. Like,
is it separate from what the
but I don't
other
know.
races
So that's
are
what
doing?
I'm looking forward to seeing what his homecoming experience is going to be like. Is it going to feel that division, or is it going to be more of that come together? And I'm just going to see everything kind of just lay out on the forefront. So I'm really interested to see how his homecoming kind of all plays together.
Yeah, I'm curious to know, like, from the school Lex, you and Anika went to, is the division, is that something caused by, I guess, the school or the faculty, or is it just the mindset of the students?
It's all of the, Anika, obviously you can, speak to some of the experiences you had, but I think it's all of the above. I think when you go to a school that is predominantly white, that does not incorporate in and of itself opportunities for all the students. Right. That's where it becomes challenging. Correct. So with your example with Penn State is a large university, though. Correct. So it might be predominantly white, but you figure you still got a whole other set of black students there that can at least come together. And so we did that at Cal, but it was just very, very apparent that we were in the minority. There was nothing that was fashioned for us. But Anika, like, what's your perspective on it?
I definitely agree. I think the grouping was largely influenced by, as Lexi said, the opportunities on campus, the exposure on campus. I think when you go anywhere, you can be in a boardroom meeting with colleagues, and you will sit in the group that you're most comfortable with.
True.
And
Yep.
so
That's true.
Cal was 4% black, and maybe half lived on campus and half lived off campus. And most of the half that lived on campus were, was the football team. And so you grew together. We had in front of the student union under the pavilion, we used to call it Little Africa. And that's where all the black students were congregating. And I mean, as an adult, when I look back, I laugh, but I laugh because it's kind of sad that we named the area Little Africa as a means to feel like we had a space where we belong with each other. But I mean, one of our teachers or professors or one of the faculty members, Mr. James, he had to be in his 50s, and he went to Cal. And when he went to Cal, he said he was one of three. And so when you think about him being 50 to 10 years ago, I'm trying to make myself seem younger than what I really am, but 10 years ago, he was 50. And he remembers being one of three black students on campus. And so I think for Cal in particular, because it wasn't so far removed, when there wasn't that many minority students on campus, the isolation was just easy to kind of fall into. Like, unless you were on the football team and you really congregated with everyone, you just stuck with your own, you just feel comfortable with.
I'm actually curious to ask Bria, do she know kind of like the mixture of people other than African American that go to her school? Like a number, is it 2 white people, 3 Chinese people, 4 Hispanic people?
I
like
wonder if they may feel the same way.
That's-
Like,
but
they
see,
going
that's
to a
why-
historically
that's
black
why
college is like,
I'm trying to-
well, Jesus, this predominantly
Black.
they're the minority. At those
yeah.
schools.
So
Bria, do you have any statistics or do you know any numbers about other?
Well, there are, yes, we're predominantly black, but there are a lot of Caucasians that have kind of come into our territory, so to speak. Not only just Caucasians, we have some Asians that are here too. We actually have people that come from China
right.
that go to school here.
So to them, they're the minority.
People from there, other people that come from places like, there was one guy I met that was from Australia. So a lot of people are coming to HBCUs, but yes, we take over to the majority, but there's still some strong minorities that are coming in.
So did they share with you like why they, not again, this is awesome, but did they share with you their reason for coming to an HBCU? Was it something that encouraged them to want to come there?
Well, our school is a very good nursing school. Like, our school of health sciences is very strong.
Okay.
And it's also good for teachers. So a lot of people come to get that kind of education because it's that good. So a lot of people that I talked to were in the science field and, wanted to be nurses. And they decided that this was the best route for them, even though it was, in Winston, there were mostly black teachers, there's mostly black students. They just thought that, aside from that, they wanted the education that we had to offer.
Which I think is no different than any other school. It's like, hey, I'm
thinking the
going to
same
where I'm
thing.
going, where I think the best education is going to be.
Exactly.
It just so happens that I happen to be attending either a predominantly Caucasian school or a predominantly African American school.
Exactly.
But I think they're all looking. In some
you
cases,
went to a
somebody's going to
predominantly
be
white school.
Somebody's going to
For a
have to
reason.
be a minority somewhere.
Yeah, and
That's
I think
true.
what
But I
got us to Cal, and so to back up a little bit, when you asked the question about do you feel who were the catalysts, maybe was it the students or the teachers? We did try to have some advocates. So how Anika and I, and probably a lot of the other black people that came around that time, what some of the PSAC schools, the Pennsylvania State Accredited Colleges and Universities, which would include Edinburgh, Slippery Rock, Cal, Westchester, Cheney, even as the first historically black college university, Cheney University. So there are a few, Shippensburg, Millersville, that make that up. And so for some of the ones that were predominantly white, we had like an admissions counselor there, and he was black. And so what they started giving out was this called Board of Governors Scholarship. and it was to try to bring in more minority students,
Right.
specifically black students.
Right.
So they, to that extent, he was trying. He was black. He saw the need. So I think the one question I do have that for each of you guys, and I know we all have kids. Well, not Bria. Don't be trying to.
You better not even think about it, girl. You better
turn up
not
too
even
much.
think about it.
Listen, but for those with kids, and then Bria, I would ask you when we come around, as the child, of two parents who went to school, and I think they were probably mostly white. Would you want your child to go to, and I think I know the answer, but just for the audience, would you want your child to go to a school where they see more people like them? Or would you want them to go to, a school just based on location? Like, what's driving force? And I'll say, I know the answer may be I want them to go to the best school that has the best, but those are on both sides.
Right, yeah.
Those are on both sides.
And feeling, I probably, emotion-wise, would want them to go where they feel the most connected, and you feel the most connected when you see people who look like you and behave like you, come from different backgrounds like you. But in logic, it would be go where the best fit is, go where you are aligned to accomplish whatever your goal is. But one thing that's coming up for me is you said there was the black guy there who were attracting the students. The attraction is one thing, but then what's the cultural competence once we get there? How do you then incorporate the African American students once they're here? And I sound like some schools challenge with that. We get them here, but then it's like, what do we do with them, right? Yeah. So for me, the next question would be, if it is a predominantly white school, what's the cultural competency? Who is the counselors? Who's the teachers? What services, resources do you have? What does life look like here for a minority student? I mean, you could be Asian and be a minority, so it's not just a black thing. I mean, it's a minority.
It's a minority
I'm outnumbered.
Yeah.
Anywhere you're going, you outnumbered. You feel a little uncomfortable. I mean, you just do. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that would come up, but I probably would want them to go where they are aligned, but at the same time where they feel comfortable and see people like them. You know?
Let me go to Anika with the 10-year-old. What would your preference be?
And so, interesting question, because I was on my son's age and I'm kind of dealing with that now. In terms of the best schools. So we're now applying, going to be graduating fifth grade next year, so we're applying for junior high schools. And I've been looking up the junior high schools that are the best in the district. And one of the schools had 1,200 students, 11% black, which made about 95 of the student body. Of course, 3 grades, which means in each grade was only 35 black students. And when you break down the number of classes per grade, it maybe was about 3 students in each class. And so I've been debating, do I put, even in junior high school, do I put him in an environment where he feels a sense of community? Or do I put him in this environment where the education is amazing, and I just got to make sure like I take him to a rec center so he can engage with people that look like him, right? And so when I think about what that looks like for college and how it's going to translate in college, I honestly don't know, because even for myself, having gone to an institution that was predominantly white, it forced me to step outside of the realm of comfortability with my own people. And so when I started college, they didn't have an African American Studies program. And when I asked the chair of the history department, his words to me was, you don't need African American Studies, you're in Western PA. And so what that did for me, it ignited a fire to fight and to bring something to the campus that to this day is still there. And if I had gone to HBCU, which for the experience I wish I would have, just for, again, a sense of community, but having had the opportunity to have a voice on that campus in a way that would have been different from an HBCU, for me, was priceless. Because for me, I found my voice because I was forced to either speak up or to fall into the background and receive the scraps that was being thrown. And so for my son, I think whoever, P, I think you were just the one speaking?
Yes.
Yes, I agree with you. I want to know how minority students cater to on the campus. Where's the focus on them and things of that nature. So I would want the same thing for my son, also where he aligns